Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of The Best and Worst of Walt Disney World. I'm your host, Pete Werner, and I am joined for this episode by my lovely producer, Mr. Craig Williams.
Hello.
And we haven't done these for about a month, so we're getting them started again. Kind of took a break from it, tried some different stuff. But we're back to doing our best and worst shows each week. So we thought we'd start off with something near and dear to my heart, and that is the best table service restaurants at Walt Disney World that require 2 credits on the Disney dining plan. Now, we did a couple previously that were best 1 table service credit restaurants. So we thought we would kind of revisit that and do the best 2 table service credit restaurants. Now, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, if you purchase the Disney dining plan as part of your Disney World vacation, you get a certain number of credits each day toward meals for the length of your vacation. Some restaurants are just 1 credit. Those are your kind of standard table service restaurants. But the signature dining restaurants, the more expensive places, require 2 table service credits. So we thought, we'd do something that, kind of give you some guidance from our opinion. Craig has his list. Mm-hmm. I have mine. We have not compared notes. But I always like to go into these saying that these are just our opinions. We're not expecting anybody to base their decisions off our opinions. This is part of the information you collect as you plan your vacation. You'll make a decision that's best for you. There are people that are going to disagree with what's on our list. They're not wrong, and neither am I. So that's the whole idea behind sharing this. This is just my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. I've eaten at all these places many times, so I'm just kind of giving you the benefit of my experience. Now, the reasons that restaurants will show up on this list vary. For some, it's because the theming or the atmosphere around it is so good that it's really worth that investment of the 2 table service credits. For others, it's the food. The food is really good, and it's really worth that investment. So understand that I'm not applying one standard to all of these. And with all those caveats now out of the way, I'm going to start off with my number 5 best 2 credit table service restaurant at Walt Disney World, and that is the Hoop-de-Doo Review at Fort Wilderness. This is the longest running dinner show in America. It's been running since the 70s, and it is consistently a great experience. Again, we're not serving gourmet food here, but we are serving delicious fried chicken and ribs and cornbread, and it's all you can eat, so they keep bringing it out to you. They bring it out in buckets. The servers are kind of into it. They're a little sassy. It's a great family-friendly stage show that they put on. Very popular. In my opinion, absolutely worth 2 table service credits for that experience, if that's the sort of thing you're into. Now, you may be into just fine dining, and that's what you want to spend your table service credits on. That would not be a good choice for you. But if you're looking for something different to do, an experience that you'll remember, that is consistently very good. For me, it's the Hoop-de-Doo Review.
I absolutely agree. That's also on my list, but in a different place.
Okay, well, what is your number 5?
What is my number 5? The Boathouse, actually, over at Disney Springs.
I was looking at that.
Yeah.
But I said, too soon.
You know what?
Soon.
It's
good. It's been consistently good.
I've gone, I think, 3 times now to the Boathouse, twice for dinner and once for lunch. And I haven't had a bad meal there yet. I haven't had bad service. And, the time that I went and I got their steak and lobster combo, it was just absolutely heavenly. But the other thing I really love about the Boathouse, too, is just that view that you have looking out towards Saratoga Springs, as well as out towards Paddlefish, that's opposite way, out towards Cirque du Soleil Theater.
Mm-hmm.
And, you just can have a really nice, relaxing evening there, especially like right at Sunset Point. It's really beautiful
and the food is outstanding.
Oh, yeah.
The service is outstanding. It really is. It's an excellent restaurant. The only reason it didn't make my list is because it's still in the new category. But actually, my honorable mention on this list is also in the new category, and it's not that.
Oh,
But
okay. Okay.
all right, so that's Craig's number 5. Number 4 for me, the Hollywood Brown Derby at Disney's Hollywood Studios. In this instance, I went with, this is a signature restaurant and deserves to be a signature restaurant. The food is consistently outstanding. I eat there at least once every few months, and every time, no matter what I order, the food is really good, and the service is outstanding. And also, there's the legacy of it. This is a true recreation of the original Hollywood Brown Derby. That, if you ever watched I Love Lucy and things like that, you saw it in movies, you saw it in television shows back in the 50s and the 60s. And this is where all the stars would gather, and they do movie premieres. They go there after movie premieres, and they actually take very seriously the legacy. So a lot of the things that are done in terms of like the Cobb salad, the Brown Derby made the Cobb salad famous. How that is done is exactly the way it was done at the Hollywood Brown Derby, the original. So a lot of the legacy of the original has been carried over into this. And if you ask your servers about it, they'll tell you the whole story, and it's really interesting. That, for me, adds to the charm of the place. Plus, it's a beautiful restaurant. So all things considered, I think, for me, number 4 on my list, Hollywood Brown Derby.
Yeah, I'd actually put it at the exact same place. The Cobb salad is my absolute favorite thing
It's amazing.
on the menu there. I just gushed about it on a recent Disney World Edition podcast episode. I absolutely love it. The entire menu is great. And one of the best additions I think they've added to that restaurant is the outdoor bar area that they have.
The tapas area, yeah.
Which, that's not a 2-table service credits. But it's just, it kind of brings the whole restaurant together. You have a little bit of a wait. You can sit out there, hang out before you go into the actual main dining. It's a lovely experience, and they still have done such a great job of kind of keeping it a world on its own. All that background sound from everything else happening in Hollywood Studios doesn't really drift into there. So it's still just, it's an elegant place to eat. I absolutely love it.
Elegant, but at the same time, you don't feel out of place going in there sweaty with a t-shirt and shorts. So I absolutely love it. So that's number 4. Number 3 for me, and I'll be honest, there's not a lot of daylight for me between 3, 2, and 1. And this is where my list gets obvious. California Grill. I put it at number 3, and here's why. You certainly can't beat the view. Generally speaking, the food is very consistent. My experience has been, it's always been good. But I've talked to a lot of people who have not always shared that experience. So I'm kind of factoring that into where I hear, not all the time, but enough to register. People say, we went for dinner there and my steak wasn't good, or this wasn't that good, or that wasn't that good. That has not been my experience, but kind of factoring in some of that, which is why I put them at number 3. The view this is the top floor of the Contemporary, view of the Magic Kingdom, the surrounding area, all of Seven Seas Lagoon. You can see the Grand Floridian, the Polynesian. Watch the fireworks. That's probably the big thing.
Yeah.
To do there, schedule it so you have dinner while the fireworks are going on at the Magic Kingdom. Really amazing. Also extraordinarily expensive. And this is, in terms of using table service credits, this is a great way to get some value for your money. So number 3 for me, California Grill.
Number 3 for me is probably actually going to be on your least favorite list, and that's Morimoto Asia.
Actually, I did not put Morimoto on my least favorite.
It just didn't go on any. I really enjoy this restaurant. For a sushi fan, this is the best sushi that you will find on property, hands down. I can't even describe it. The variety, the pricing's a little high on it, but
it's expensive.
It's from an Iron Chef. So
True.
What do you expect? But then the entrees that they also serve here, really took me by surprise. Everyone talks about the ribs that are here, and they just melt in your mouth. They are so delicious. But it's not just a sushi place. It's kind of like an Asian blend when it actually
Asian
comes.
fusion, yeah.
Exactly. So there's, as long as you like some sort of Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese, Thai type food, you will find something you like on this menu. And it kind of like Boathouse, all the restaurants now at Disney Springs, it kind of transforms throughout the day. And dinner is the only time it actually is 2 table service credits. If you go there for lunch, it'll only cost you 1. But for like a date night, dinner's just where you have to go.
The reason it is not on either of my lists is because my experience there has been but I'm the only person I know that feels that way. Everybody else that's eaten there loves it. So for that reason, I felt that it needed to stay off my list.
Yeah.
So, but that's interesting.
Understandable. Yeah.
Now, number 2 and number 1, it's a constant battle for me. This is in terms of absolute, like, phenomenal food, consistently good, great atmosphere. One restaurant edges just ahead of the other, but number 2 on my list is the newly reimagined Flying Fish at Disney's Boardwalk. Any place that can get me to eat seafood and Brussels sprouts has a genius for a chef. And I have done both of those things at this restaurant. As a matter of fact, because of the way he prepared Brussels sprouts, I now cook them in a very similar way and love them. Now, if you know me, those are words you just never thought you'd hear me say. That I enjoy Brussels sprouts, let alone that I'd cook them. That is how good this guy is, Chef Tim Majoris. Is an absolute genius. He completely reimagined this restaurant and this menu. The menu isn't consistent because he's constantly changing the menu based on what's available to him, what's locally, what he can locally source, what he can get fresh. So the menu is ever changing. But the consistency comes in from just how good it's done. And it's just an amazing experience to go in there, have this wonderful meal in this gorgeous restaurant, and you really feel like you're back. It's like the boardwalk in the 30s or the 40s, that Art Deco, the blues and the silvers, and from just the service, the food, the atmosphere, the whole thing. It's phenomenal. The only reason it's number 2 is because it's relatively new. It's only about a year old under Chef Tim. And what sits in my number 1 spot has been around longer and has been consistent longer. So that's the only reason. But number 2 for me, the Flying Fish at the Boardwalk, if you really should check it out.
Yeah. My number 2 is California Grill, actually. So basically all the reasons that you gave. There is nothing like having a meal and being able to sit and watch fireworks. The wishes happening, or I guess in just a little bit, Happily Ever After.
Happily Ever After.
What we'll be watching there. But they just have a great drink selection, especially if you're a wine lover. A ton of California wines, a nice blend of sushi, as well as other entrees that they have there. And it's just, to me, it is like one of the ultimate Walt Disney World restaurants, in that, like, I feel like you can almost transport yourself back to 1971 when you're sitting up there. Yeah. It feels historic.
Well, if you were transporting yourself back to 1971, you'd be watching cheesy variety show entertainment, because that was top of the world back then.
Hey, I would love that. They did. I love this restaurant, but if they could convert it back to that would be just as good.
No, dear.
It would.
No.
It would.
No.
It needs to. I'd put on a fun blue suit and I'd be just rocking the floor. But yeah, okay. I love California Grill.
This is my producer. I'm so very, very, very scared. So you're number 2, California Grill.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
My number 1 should come as no surprise to anybody who watches my shows. It is my favorite restaurant on Disney property right now by a hair, and that is Jico at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge. Just where it gets the edge for me is the South African influence in the menu. or the African, just in general, not just South African, but African influence in the menu, the consistency of how good this restaurant is. It's, there's a difference between a great meal and a culinary experience. Places like the Flying Fish, the California Grill, and Jico, in my opinion, are culinary experiences. And they're just without parallel. And Jico, every time I go in there, I'm blown away. I'm blown away by how good the food is. And again, the service and then the atmosphere. You're at Animal Kingdom Lodge. And we'll get to this in another show, but this is a resort that does just this genius thing of how it blends its theming and its architecture and its food to create the most cohesive themed experience you will find anywhere at Walt Disney World. I will also go as far as to say food and beverage in general, whether it is at Jico, at Boma, which is the buffet restaurant, or at the Mara, which is its quick service restaurant, hands down, best food you will have at a Disney resort in any category. Quick service, buffet, table service. It is out of this world. The food and beverage done at Animal Kingdom Lodge is the best at Walt Disney World. I feel very comfortable saying that. I don't even feel I have to qualify it. It's that good. So that's why, those are the reasons why Jico ekes out a small win over Flying Fish for me.
Yeah, and my number one, I alluded to it earlier, is Hoop-Dee-Doo.
Really? You'll put Hoop-Dee-Doo number one?
And we know this. This is basic fried chicken. The sides are all very plain, easygoing, but it is just pure comfort food mixed with a really entertaining show. It doesn't matter how many times I see that show. I enjoy it every single time, and I love everything about it. It is my favorite dining experience that I have on property. If I get a choice of what I would want to do for my birthday, for anything else, that's my number one go-to. Okay. I always suggest that. It's, and if you're a drinker, the all-you-can drinks included in it too. So
there we go. That's why it's number one.
By the time that you get pulled up on stage and you're completely embarrassed, at least you got a little buzz going on. So it is pure Disney magic for me. It's great for all ages. If you're old, if you're young, there is something to enjoy in Hoop-Dee-Doo. And to me, that's kind of what Disney's all about, finding that perfect thing for families.
So remind everybody your list from 5 to 1.
5 was Boathouse, 4 was Hollywood Brown Derby, 3 was Morimoto Asia, 2 was California Grill, and 1 was Hoop-Dee-Doo Review.
And for me, number 5 was Hoop-Dee-Doo Review, number 4 was the Brown Derby, number 3 the California Grill, number 2 the Flying Fish, and number 1 was Jico. So there you have it. That is our top 5 2 table service credit restaurants at Walt Disney World. That will do it for this episode of The Best and Worst of Walt Disney World. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back with you again next time with another episode. Have a great day, everybody.